File item 58. Mr. Secretary, please read. File item 58.
Senate Bill 997 by Senator Lara, an act relating to health care coverage.
Senator Lara.
Thank you, Madam President. Members, last year together we did an incredible thing. We made history by ensuring that every child in California was eligible for Medi-Cal, wherever that child was born or whatever their immigration status is. Health for all kids is now a reality in California, and over 170,000 kids now benefit from our action. In May, like I said, thousands of children are now transitioning into full scope coverage Medi-Cal managed care. Since we enacted Health for All Kids, we've learned that Kaiser has been voluntarily providing coverage for approximately 70,000 undocumented children over the last 15 years. Kaiser has paid for this coverage as part of their charity care and community benefit program, even though no state or federal law required them to do such thing. Now that Health for All Kids is a reality, the question arises of what happens to these kids that already have Kaiser coverage and are now eligible for Medi-Cal. How do we assure continuity of care for the families that want to continue to have their child covered by Kaiser while those children transition to comprehensive medical coverage? Disruptions in coverage can cause unnecessary confusion, limit access to care, and may result in a child losing coverage. SB 997 will ensure that these undocumented children do not have their care coverage disrupted as they transition to Medi-Cal coverage. It is in the best interest of the patients and their families to minimize these challenges and make the process as streamlined as possible. That is what I'm working on to achieve with SB 997. I respectfully ask for your aye vote.
Debate or discussion on this item? Is there any debate or discussion? Seeing and hearing none, Mr. Secretary, please call the roll.
Allen? Aye. Anderson? Bates? No. Anderson, no. Bates? No. Bell? Aye. Berryhill? Block? Aye. Cannella? Aye. De Leon? Fuller? No. Gaines? No. Galgiani? Aye. Glazer? Aye. Hall? Aye. Hancock? Aye. Hernandez? Aye. Hertzberg? Aye. Hill? Aye. Hueso? Aye. Huff? Jackson? Aye. Lara? Aye. Leno? Leyva? Aye. Liu? Aye. McGuire? Aye. Mendoza? Aye. Mitchell? Monning? Aye. Morlock? No. Morell? Wynn? Nielsen? No. Pan? Aye. Pavley? Aye. Roth? Aye. Runner? Stone? No. Vidak? Aye. Wykowski? Aye. Wolk? Aye.
Please call the absent members.
Berryhill? No. De Leon? Huff? Leno? Mitchell? Aye. Morell? No. Wynn? Runner?
Ayes 26, noes 9. The measure passes. Moving on to file item 64. Mr. Secretary, please read.
Senate Bill 1052 by Senator Lara, an act relating to juveniles.
Senator Lara.
Thank you, Madam President and members. SB 1052 would require youth under the age of 18 to consult with legal counsel before they waive their Miranda rights. Additionally, this bill requires guidance for courts in determining whether a youth Miranda waiver was made in a voluntary, knowing, and intelligent manner as required under existing law. Currently in California, children, no matter how young, can waive their Miranda rights. When law enforcement conducts a custodial interrogation, they are required to recite basic constitutional rights to the individual, known as Miranda rights, and secure a waiver before proceeding. Miranda waivers by juveniles present distinct issues, members. Although existing law assures counsel for youth accused of crimes, it does not require law enforcement and the courts to recognize that youth are different from adults in interrogations. Recently, in an appellate court, held that a 10-year-old boy made a voluntary, knowing, and intelligent waiver of his Miranda rights. When the police asked if he understood his Miranda rights, he replied, "Yes, that means that I have the right to stay calm." The California Supreme Court declined to review the lower court's decision. Several justices disagreed, and in Justice Liu's dissenting statement, pointed out that many states have taken legislation on this issue and suggest that it's time for California to provide additional protections for youth as well. Given that we know, members, that youth are different from adults, it is critical to ensure youth understand their rights before waiving them, and courts have clear criteria for evaluating the validity of these waivers. I respectfully ask for your aye vote.
Any debate or discussion on the item? Any debate or discussion? Seeing and hearing none, Mr. Secretary, please call the roll.
Allen? Anderson? No. Bates? No. Bell? Aye. Berryhill? Block? Aye. Canella? Aye. DeLeon? Fuller? No. Gaines? Galgiani? No. Glazer? Hall? Aye. Hancock? Aye. Hernandez? Hertzberg? Aye. Hill? Aye. Hueso? Huff? Jackson? Lara? Leno? Lara, aye. Leno? Leyva? Aye. Liu? Aye. McGuire? Aye. Mendoza? Aye. Mitchell? Aye. Mawning? Aye. Morlock? No. Morell? No. Wynn? No. Nielsen? No. Pan? Aye. Pavley? Aye. Roth? Aye. Runner? Stone? No. Vidak? No. Wykowski? Aye. Wolk? Aye.
Please call the absent members.
Allen? Aye. Berryhill? Berryhill? No. DeLeon? Gaines? No. Glazer? Hernandez? Hueso? Aye. Huff? No. Jackson? Leno? Runner? Hernandez?
Please, we'll go one more time. Please call the absent members.
DeLeon? Glazer? No. Hernandez? Aye. Jackson? Leno? Runner?
Ayes 22, noes 14. The measure passes. File item 83, Senator Lara's last item. Mr. Secretary, please read.
Thank you, Madam President. Members, it is my last bill for today. Apologize, but we
Senate
will
Bill
be here.
1289 by Senator Lara, an act relating to immigration.
Senator Lara.
Thank you. Members, for far too long, our immigration detention system has promoted profits over people. SB 1289 does three things. It prohibits local governments from entering into new contracts or extending contracts with for-profit companies to detain immigrants. However, it would not shut down all private for-profit detention facilities overnight. It requires that all facilities that detain immigrants to adhere to the standards created by ICE in their 2011 Operations Performance-Based National Detention Standards, which include basic access to medication, the right to file grievances, and have visitation by legal counsel and family. The bill also provides additional protections for our LGBT community, such as having access to HIV treatment, and transgender detainees have the right to be held in facilities corresponding with their gender identity and access to medication. The bill also provides a private right of action in the event that these detainees' rights are violated. Detained immigrants are incredibly vulnerable because for-profit corporations have no obligations to the public and do not have to comply with our basic freedom of information laws like county or city facilities do. Additionally, detainees also do not have the same rights as Californians held on criminal charges, like access to legal counsel. SB 1289 would make the federal government's own standards enforceable under state law and create the right to sue if an immigrant's rights are violated. These are alternatives to there are alternatives to detention for immigrants that are not being utilized because the for-profit system industry, including because of the for-profit prison industry, including releasing immigrants on bond. When detained people have a legal or moral obligation to ensure that they are not abused or neglected and that companies are not profiting off their incarceration, it's time for California to step up and lead the nation to stop letting companies profit off the backs of immigrants and demand humane treatment for all. I respectfully ask for your aye vote.
Thank you. Any debate or discussion on this item? Seeing and hearing none, Mr. Secretary, please call the roll.
Allen? Aye. Anderson? No. Bates? Bell? Aye. Berryhill? No. Block? Aye. Canella?
One moment. There's something not right here. Do over.
All right, we're going to start again. Mr. Secretary, please call the roll.
Allen? Aye. Anderson? No. Bates? Bell? Aye. Berryhill? No. Block? Aye. Canella? No. De Leon? Fuller? No. Gaines? No. Galgiani? Glazer? No. Hall? Aye. Hancock? Hernandez? Aye. Hertzberg? Aye. Hill? Aye. Hueso? Aye. Huff? No. Huff? No. Jackson? Aye. Lada? Aye. Leno? Leyva? Aye. Liu? Aye. McGuire? Aye. Mendoza? Aye. Mitchell? Aye. Monning? Aye. Morlock? No. Morrell? No. Wynn? No. Nielsen? Pan? Aye. Pavley? Aye. Roth? Runner? Stone? No. Vidak? No. Wykowski? Aye. Wolk? Aye.
Please call the absent members.
Bates? De Leon? Galgiani? Hancock? Leno? Nielsen? Roth? Roth, aye. Runner?
Ayes 21, noes 12. The measure passes. We're going to move back, colleagues, to file item 34. Senator Leyva, Mr. Secretary, please read.
Not really.
Senate Bill 1000 by Senator Leyva, an act related to land use.
Senator Leyva.
Thank you, Madam President. Good morning, members. SB 1000 would require cities and counties to develop and include an environmental justice element in their general plans. According to the California Environmental Protection Agency, almost 7.4 million people, or roughly 20% of California's population, live in areas that are burdened with high concentrations of pollution. And I would dare say most of them live in the Inland Empire. Nearly half of all Californians live within 6 miles of a polluting facility, and children in poverty are even more likely to live near these facilities. Clearly, environmental justice and health issues are an ongoing crisis in California. Land use remains a leading cause of environmental inequities, from the lack of basic infrastructure in rural areas to the exposure of residential communities to toxins from industrial facilities. As a result, the residents in these communities, who are primarily low-income people of color, often suffer from higher rates of asthma, birth defects, and cancer. I did a toxic tour in my district, and I can testify that this is true. Requiring local governments to include environmental justice in their general plans will ensure a proactive and thoughtful approach to the problems and challenges faced by these disadvantaged communities. By addressing these pollution and health issues in our most vulnerable communities via the general plans, the state will see significant health benefits that will improve the health costs, care costs over time. Recently, the cities of National City and Jurupa Valley implemented environmental justice elements. National City and Jurupa Valley provide examples of how environmental justice issues can be successfully incorporated into a local general plan in a way that promotes improved health outcomes without endangering development or progress. To be clear, SB 1000 does not seek to prevent new development or push development away from disadvantaged communities. Rather, incorporating an environmental justice element into local general plans is about planning development wisely and thoughtfully to ensure that we have healthy communities throughout all of California. SB 1000 has received strong support from many environmental justice, health, environmental, and community groups across California. I have had continuous discussions with stakeholders and opposition, and I am currently working on amendments to address a number of concerns that have been raised. I respectfully ask for an aye vote.
Thank you, Senator Leyva. Debate or discussion on this matter? Senator Stone, followed by Senator Allen.
Thank you, Madam President. I respectfully rise to oppose SB 1000. It will require every city and county to adopt an environmental justice element upon the adoption or next revision of its general plan. Some local governments are already taking on this issue without any mandates from the state of California, including the city of Jurupa Valley in Riverside County. According to the most recent annual planning survey conducted by OPR, the Office of Planning and Research, in 2014, 101 cities and counties reported that they have considered equity issues in their general plans. As such, it's unnecessary for the state to meddle in local land use decisions, especially as it pertains to climate predictions or environmental justice issues. This is a heavy-handed centric approach to force our cities to incorporate a standard they can already do themselves. For those reasons, Madam Chairwoman, I respectfully urge a no vote.
Thank you, Senator Stone. Senator Allen.
Thank you, Madam President. I agree that this is something they can do themselves, but of course, at the same time, cities don't always do this, and I think it's an important thing for them to be looking at. We talk a lot on this floor about the fact that the environmental movement and sustainability needs to really be something that's a win-win for everyone, including our disadvantaged communities. What I'd like to sort of ask the author and kind of hear from the author about is for those cities that have actually incorporated environmental justice into their plans, what sort of provisions are you going to take, or maybe amendments moving forward to make sure that this does become, doesn't become an overly onerous burden on those cities that are already taking this issue seriously, but that might have just passed their plan earlier. So I with respect, would love to hear a little bit more about that.
Thank you, Senator Allen. Any further debate or discussion on this item? Seeing and hearing none. Senator Leyva, would you like to close?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'd like to address some of the issues raised to the senator from Temecula. This would not require any city to change their general plan at this time. They would only change it when it is time for them to change their general plan. And some cities don't change their general plan for up to 10 years. And cities that already, to the senator from Santa Monica, cities that already have a plan, this wouldn't apply to them. They're already doing the right thing. So this is to help encourage cities who are not doing the right thing to do the right thing. And I would just say, in closing, after answering questions, I think a perfect example of why this is needed, when I did the toxic tour in my district in Bloomington, there are a housing tract. There's a housing tract, and the residents there bought these houses and checked to see that the land next to them was actually zoned residential. Now they're trying to change it to make it commercial and build a huge warehouse distribution center literally in their backyards. If they had a general plan, they wouldn't have to worry about this. They wouldn't have to worry about having this warehouse put in their backyard. I am happy to continue working with all stakeholders and get to a place where everyone feels comfortable, but this is something that we critically need. If you drive through your district, you'll find that some of the worst polluting areas are in low-income and disadvantaged communities. So this is just a way to make sure that cities are thoughtful in where things are built. They are thoughtful about where they put these polluters. I respectfully ask for an aye vote.
All debate having ceased, Mr. Secretary, please call the roll.
Allen? Aye. Anderson? No. Bates? Bell? Aye. Berryhill? No. Block? Aye. Canella? No. De Leon? Fuller? No. Gaines? No. Galgiani? No. Glazer? No. Hall? Aye. Hancock? Hernandez? Aye. Hertzberg? Aye. Hill? Aye. Hueso? Aye. Huff? No. Jackson?
Aye.
Aye. Lara? Leno? Leyva? Aye. Liu? Aye. McGuire? Aye. Mendoza? Aye. Mitchell? Aye. Monning? Morlock? No. Morell? No. Wynn? No. Nielsen? Pan? Aye. Pavley? Aye. Roth? Aye. Runner? Stone? No. Vidak? No. Wykowski? Aye. Wolk? Aye.
Please call the absent members.
Bates? DeLeon? Hancock? Lara? Leno? Monning? Aye. Nielsen? Runner?
Senator Leyva moves a call. File item 37, and that will put us back on file here in file order. File item number 37, Senator Pan, pass on file. File item 38, Senator Hernandez. Senator Hernandez, file item 38. Do you wish to take that up?
Want to put on inactive?
Move to the inactive file. That will be the order. File item 39, Senator McGuire. Mr. Secretary, please read.
Senate Bill 1250 by Senator McGuire, an act relating to telecommunications.
Senator McGuire.
Well, good morning, Madam President, and it is great to see you. This is a bipartisan bill, Madam President. This is amazing. Several times every year, local businesses and financial institutions in rural districts throughout California lose millions of dollars due to the loss of telecommunications services. Not to mention put lives at risk when hundreds of thousands lose connectivity with their telephone. When these communication outages occur, credit and debit card machines lose connectivity, ATM machines are disconnected, banks are unable to provide customers information about personal accounts, jails lose all phone service, colleges have to reschedule their finals, hospitals, courts, and residents are shut down. And to be blunt, rural California is still trying to recover economically from the Great Recession. And what we know is that currently, under federal policies, these businesses, banks, hospitals, 911 call centers, and first responders are kept in the dark when telecommunication outages has occurred. Or even when service will be restored, there is simply no policy requiring carriers to inform the state and local authorities when their phone service is down or when it's going to be restored. Californians have come to expect when there's a disruption of utility service, whether it's electricity, wastewater, or water, they're going to get updates on a timely basis. Over the last 3 years, residents on the North Coast between the Golden Gate Bridge and the Oregon border have experienced 5 significant telecommunication outages that have wreaked havoc on those communities, and hundreds of thousands of residents' safety were put at risk unnecessarily. This is why we bring forward the bipartisan Senate Bill 1250. It develops a statewide reporting outage at the time of the telephone outage, providing updates to emergency officials. And this bill establishes outage reports, which the state will be able to use and monitor long-term. SB 1250 simply requires all carriers to notify the California Office of Emergency Services of the 911 system outage, and who will then communicate with the impacted emergency authorities. It provides Cal OES a secondary, more detailed report and a live contact representative on the telecommunication side, and provides a detailed summary of the outage to Cal OES within 20 days of the outage. I would like to be able to say this is supported by state sheriffs and California police chiefs, fire districts, as well as the National Emergency Number Association, which the President loves and enjoys. I also want to say thank you to the Senator from San Mateo, the Senator from Gerber, and the Senator from Davis for their co-authorship. Would respectfully ask for an aye vote.
Thank you for that Academy Award presentation. Any debate or discussion on this item? Any debate or discussion? Seeing and hearing none, Mr. Secretary, please call the roll.
Allen? Aye. Anderson? No. Bates? Bell? Aye. Berryhill? Aye. Block? Aye. Canella? Aye. DeLeon? Fuller? No. Gaines? Galgiani? Glazer? Gaines? Aye. Galgiani? Aye. Glazer? Aye. Hall? Aye. Hancock? Hernandez? Aye. Hertzberg? Aye. Hill? Aye. Hueso? Aye. Huff? Jackson?
Aye.
Aye. Lara? Leno? Leyva? Aye. Liu? Aye. McGuire? Aye. Mendoza? Aye. Mitchell? Aye. Monning? I. Morlock. I. Morel. I. Wynn. Nielsen. Pan. I. Pavley. I. Roth. I. Runner. Stone. Vidak. Wykowski. I. Wolk. I.
Please call the absent members.
Bates. DeLeon. Hancock. Huff. I. Lada. Leno. Wynn. No. Nielsen. Runner. Stone. No. Vidak. I.
Ayes 29, noes 4. The measure passes. Moving on to file item 41. File item 41, Senator Lauer, not at his desk, actually. File item 42, Senator Hill. Mr. Secretary, please read.
Senate Bill 812 by Senator Hill, an act relating to transportation.
Senator Hill.
Thank you, Madam President. Prompted by a runaway bus that crashed in San Francisco last year and injured 20 people, SB 812 improves the safety oversight of buses throughout the state. Specifically, the bill updates the CHP's bus inspection program so it's performance-based. Under the bill, the CHP will focus more of their efforts and limited resources on unsafe bus operators while maintaining continued oversight of good actors. The bill also directs the CHP to raise the inspection fee from the current $15 so it covers the cost of the program. The fee was set in 1986 and hasn't been changed since. The rest of the inspection costs are offset by state revenue. I know the proposed fee increase concerns the bus industry, and they've told me that they are open to paying an increased fee, but would prefer that the fee be set in statute. I've told them that I will work with them to do so, and my office has engaged the governor's office on this matter. We are in the process of setting up a meeting with the industry and the CHP to determine what the optimal fee level should be. SB 812 has received unanimous support and has no opposition. I respectfully ask for an aye vote, members.
Thank you, Senator Hill. Debate or discussion? Senator Morlock.
Thank you, Madam President. Question of the author.
Will you take
Yes,
a
of
question
course.
without objection?
Senator, you just came close to answering my question, and that is that you're working with the Bus Association on the optimal fee. But in my reading, it says that they were looking for amendments to phase the new fee in over 4 years and a self-certification for new buses. And I'm wondering if those amendments have been accepted.
Well, they haven't been accepted because we're still in discussion with them. The cost to inspect a bus is about $400 today. And the fee that the bus companies have been paying is $15. So the offset has been paid for by the taxpayers of California. So what we're trying to do is create a fee that is not necessarily in statute, but allows the Highway Patrol to be flexible in that. And so we're looking at trying at every option to make sure that there's a comfort level at the end of the day. And that's really the goal, because we want to make sure that the bus operators are not penalized, but at the same time, we want to make sure that the fee is appropriate to cover most of the cost of the operation.
Great. Thank you for your response. Thank you, Madam President.
Senator.
Thank you. Any other debate, questions? Seeing and hearing none, Senator
Respectfully
Hill, you
ask for
may
an aye vote, members.
close.
Thank you.
Very good. All debate having ceased, Mr. Secretary, please call the roll.
Allen. Aye. Anderson. Aye. Bates. Bell. Aye. Berryhill. Aye. Block. Aye. Canella. Aye. DeLeon. Fuller. Gaines. Aye. Galgiani. Aye. Glazer. Aye. Hall. Aye. Hancock. Hernandez. Aye. Hertzberg. Aye. Hill. Aye. Waso. Aye. Huff. Aye. Jackson.
Aye.
Aye. Lada. Leno. Leyva. Aye. Liu. Aye. McGuire. Aye. Mendoza. Aye. Mitchell. Monning. Aye. Morlock. Aye. Morel. Aye. Wynn. Aye. Nielsen. Pan. Aye. Pavley. Aye. Roth. Aye. Runner. Stone. Aye. Vidak. Aye. Wykowski. Aye. Wolk. Aye.
Please call the absent members.
Bates. DeLeon. Fuller. Aye. Hancock. Lada. Leno. Mitchell. Aye. Nielsen, Runner.
Ayes 33, no 0. The measure passes. File item 43, Senator Roth. Mr. Secretary, please read.
Senate Bill 822 by Senator Roth, an act relating to agricultural pest control.